Welcome, everybody, to the podcast that is called Combo Sports Talk. This is the third episode of Combo Sports Talk. This show, Combo Sports Talk, is co-hosted by Shawn, Davisson, and Dustin Tran. The guy that is speaking right now is Dustin Tran. Before you do anything else, though, please subscribe to this YouTube channel called Combo Sports Talk. You guys have done a great job subscribing to it. Please continue to do so. There will also be the podcast version of Combo Sports Talk that will be released via Anchor. Anchor distributes the Combo Sports Talk podcast into many podcast apps, particularly Apple and Spotify. The show Combo Sports Talk focuses on debate, discussion, and comedy topics that are based around football and basketball mostly. You guys did a great job supporting us, so continue to go ahead and go do that. If you guys subscribe, if you guys get 50 subscribers, we will create social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, basically you name it. But you guys got to get us 50 subscribers. I don't think that's difficult to go do. So please drop a subscription if you have not done so yet. So just like I said, keep doing that. Keep watching these videos. You guys are doing a great job. It will help the show and the podcast grow even more. Shawn, are you excited or what to do Combo Sports Talk by the man known as Sports Guy Talking?
Yeah, man, for sure. Like you said, people have done great supporting us. I was surprised to even see the numbers myself. But aside from that, we have some great topics, and let's dive into it.
Yeah, for sure. The topics that will be discussed today will be the Game 2 recap of the Bucks vs. Suns NBA Finals, a prediction on Game 3 of the Bucks vs. Suns NBA Finals, and then it's coming up with the top 5 list for NBA draft prospects. And then it's going to be about debating about whether Reggie Bush should get his Heisman Trophy back, and the Bucks struggles in the finals. Who do you blame the most? So be sure to catch us on all the topics that are being talked about. That will be what is being discussed today on this episode. So that means that we are now officially ready to get Combo Sports Talk started up. So let's get this started up. All right, so what's the first topic? It's going to be about the Bucks versus Suns NBA Finals, Game 2 recap. All right, so with Game 2 of the 2021 NBA Finals finished up, the opening topic has to be about the Suns going up 2-0 in this series. In Game 2, NBA Finals favorite Chris Paul or Devin Booker, depending how you give it. I say it's Chris Paul gave a performance that put the NBA world on notice. He dropped 23 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds on 50% shooting, 60% from the three-point line, along with his sidekicks Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton playing cohesive basketball. It certainly helped when Mikal Bridges chipped in 27 points of his own. The Suns took care of business at home, and now they have to go to Milwaukee and win their games there as well. However, let's focus on what exactly happened in Game 2 and why the Suns won Game 2. We will also tell you guys what this means for both the Suns and the Bucks moving forward with the Suns winning Game 2. Before I say anything else, though, I have to go ahead and present you guys with the topic question. What was your reaction to the Suns winning Game 2?
Well, I mean, it was huge. Now it puts the Bucks in a tough situation when they go back home and they have to defend the court. They can't go down 3-0. They can't. If they do, then it's pretty much over. But, it was a huge game, like you said, from Mikal Bridges. I think I kind of called that a little bit on the last podcast. Just a big performance from him. Devin Booker and Chris Paul, like you said, great. We know they're going to be great. So it's good, to see that they're not slipping off at all. But I'm more concerned on the Bucks side with Jrue Holiday. He was not doing great. Middleton was not great. Giannis had to carry that whole team that whole night pretty much.
Yeah, Game 2, that was a game I actually expected the Bucks to win, to split up the game. So this is bad that the Bucks are down 0-2. Only 4 times in the history of the NBA has a team ever come back from down 0-2 to win the series. It hasn't happened since 2016 Cavs. And even then, that took a lot of luck. That took a Draymond Green suspension. It took the Warriors not scoring at all in like the last whatever minutes in that fourth quarter in the finals. And it just takes, quite frankly, a lot. So the chances of the Suns winning the series look fantastic right now with them going up 2-0. They're not a team that's going to blow leads. Offensively, you look at the Bucks, nobody outside of Giannis showed up. And even Giannis, even though he had a great performance, he could have worked on his free throw shooting, 61%. Like, he needs to be a little bit better than that. if the Bucks want to have any chance of winning. Either that or somebody like Drew Holiday, who has not shown up in these finals at all, or somebody like Chris Middleton needs to start making plays happen. Brook Lopez, where the heck has he been in these finals? Like, he's been getting exposed in these finals. Like, come on, he's like one of the key pieces of the Bucks. So to me, this is bad that the Bucks are down 0-2.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. It's kind of alarming a little bit, but it's also like they played a close game still, which is good because they played bad, if that makes sense. So maybe if tonight it clicks, they can win the game by 10, 15 points. And about what you said about Giannis free throws, I agree. He needs to make them, but 42 points, you can't really complain about it all that much. And the Suns did hit every single one of their free throws. I think it was 24 for 24. It's a new, I think, playoff record of most makes without a miss. So props to them on practicing free throws, I guess.
Yeah, they have been the elite free throw shooting team in these finals for sure. And also, I want to know something else. In the first quarter, while the Bucks were dominating the paint, all the Suns were doing were hitting threes throughout that first quarter. So you can see that their three ball, their free throws, very important to have. They fit the modern NBA better than the Bucks do, which is one of the reasons why I did say the Suns in 6.
Yeah, and like we said last episode, that Brook Lopez Ayton matchup was going to be big. Ayton dominated game 1 with the 22 points, 19 rebounds, and then game 2, he didn't do as well scoring, as well rebounding, but he did a lot on the defensive side. He's been doing great against Brook Lopez. He's been kind of dominating this matchup so far. Want to throw that out there as well.
Definitely. And DeAndre Ayton, like I said, I know it's going to sound like a broken record, guys, but DeAndre Ayton is the most underrated center in the game of basketball. The way that this man makes his imprints on the floor, both offensively and defensively, he is a matchup nightmare. He can guard the perimeter, he can rim protect, and then offensively, he can beat you down low in the post, and he can set pick and rolls. The one thing he hasn't been able to do is shoot from the outside, but I believe he'll get that together if he wants to get that together, especially with how CP3 has been playing. You just look at how CP3 has been playing in the finals. He's been playing sensational. He's playing like a true point guard, or should I rather say point god, because that's exactly what he's been doing. The way he's been distributing the ball, the way he's putting guys in position to succeed. And then you look at somebody like a Cameron Payne. Although he hasn't played great in these finals, he's somebody that's been able to be a threat, and the Bucks have had to trap him a couple of these times, which is leaving shooters open. So you just look at these matchups, and it's like, wow. And they lost Sarge. Now they had to play Kaminsky a little bit. So they're a deep team, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man. And also Cam Johnson, the whole bench is coming together good. They're not asked to do a lot. They're not asked to play tons of minutes, but they do great when they're on the floor because they know their role. Catch and shoot, play defense. They're doing great on that. I think the Bucks need to just knock down more jump shots, because my thing is the Suns are doing good. That's great. What's the problem with the Bucks? That's more what I'm trying to figure out. And because Giannis, he's kind of putting the team on his back right now, and he just needs other players to, do something. And Chris Paul, you could say Drew Holiday is still contributing defensively, but Chris Paul is having great games. So it's kind of hard to give that to Drew Holiday either.
I want to note something that you said. So you said they need to knock down more jump shots. And although I somewhat agree with that statement, I don't think that is the biggest problem for the Bucks. You know what they need to do? They need to figure out how to get to the free throw line more often, outside of Giannis. Why has Chris Middleton, I don't even think he's attempted a free throw yet in these finals. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Drew Holiday, he only attempted 2 free throws, I believe, or was it 3? It was something like that in game 2 of the finals. The Bucks need to figure out how to draw more contact. They need to figure out how to get to the free throw line. I mean, Giannis can't be the only one that's attacking. Middleton can't keep settling for jumpers. Holiday, I don't know what happened to him in these finals. He's supposed to be a number 3 option for this team, but so far in these finals, he's been nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but when I say shoot better, it's more about lean on Giannis and just do what they've done all year. All year, it's been Giannis getting in, drawing attention, kicking it out, them getting easy jump shots. And, they've been getting pretty good jump shots in these finals. They're just not hitting them. I think the problem is they got to hit them. And I don't really know how they need to fix that other than just get out of their own head.
I mean, with jump shots, I mean, for them, all you just got to do is either goes in or goes out. So hopefully some of these shots will be falling out home. But the good news for the Bucks is at least the first two games were at Phoenix. You know, Phoenix, they got a really loud crowd. Their crowd is great and everything like that. But now they're going to be at home. They're going to have the fans supporting them. Maybe Giannis does better at the free throw line because everybody's not going to be chanting 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're just not going to chant that at home. More likely to do so. So when I look at it from that perspective, they're just more likely to succeed in that regard, the Bucks, and they absolutely need to win Game 3. This is a must win for them.
Yeah, and I do want to point out when the fans are chanting and stuff, Giannis, him holding it for that long, that's just giving him more time to get in his own head. And the fans chanting, I feel like he's trying to prove something by staying up there for that amount. Just shoot the ball. Don't think about it. Like, shoot your free throw. Have a routine. Don't, he's just sitting there thinking about it. He's thinking too much. Just practice your free throws, make them, shoot them.
But one thing that I'm really confused about with Giannis is how did he become such a poor free throw shooter? He was not a poor free throw shooter before. Like before, he wasn't necessarily good at it, but he was functional. Now he's basically shooting at like Dwight Howard levels of free throws, or at least not good enough for a superstar player of Giannis's caliber. He was not this bad free throws before. I want to know what exactly happened with that because it has really befuddled me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's just him getting in his own head and worrying about it too much, and the final stage, creeping up and all that. So I don't know. It's something he has to fix though, and mostly it's just the other team has to be better.
Yeah, it's probably a mental issue that he's dealing with. All right, so let's move on to the Suns. We're not changing topics, but I got to ask this for you. All right, so who would be your finals pick right now in the finals?
The Suns, yeah.
No, like I mean, like which player should win
Oh,
finals?
finals MVP?
Yes,
Chris Paul. Definitely Chris Paul. Yeah.
I would
Sticking
pick. I would pick Chris Paul to win Finals MVP too, but some people could argue that Devin Booker could win it just simply because he's been the one that's been the scoring machine for the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's definitely a case for Devin Booker. I think that game one of Chris Paul has carried over a lot as well with his game two on top of that. And, Devin Booker, he had a solid game one, good game two. I just think Chris Paul's, a pretty strong favorite to win it right now for me.
Yeah, definitely. And let's get back to talking about the teams. All right, so points in the paint, the Bucks, they had 54 points in the paint. The Suns actually only had 28 points in the paint, but despite that, they won game 2. So maybe points in the paint don't matter so much as what it once did, because you look at the shooting splits, the Bucks, they shoot 45.2% from the field, 29% from the three-point line, and only 65.2% from the free throw line. And you look at the Suns, 48.9% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. That's insane, by the way. And 85.7% from the free throw line. So shooting and efficiency matters more than anything else.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that. It really matters if you're knocking down shots. It doesn't matter if you're scoring at a high clip in the paint, that's good. But what's the other team doing? Is the other team the Suns and they're knocking down 3-pointers at a 50% rate? You can't keep up with that.
Yeah, if the Suns are shooting 50% from three, you're not beating them. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and they have to find a better scheme, I guess. Budenholzer needs to draw something up. Holiday needs to do better. Middleton needs to do better. Those are two guys that should be almost elite tier defenders. Giannis, he's doing what he can, but those other guys, they need to step up, and I think we agreed on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to note about Pat Connaughton. So Connaughton, he played pretty well in game 2, but he cannot be the second best player for the Bucks if they're going to win the championship. That cannot happen in any manner. Cannot.
No, Pat Connaughton needs to be what, like a Cam Johnson for the Suns. Off the bench, reliable scoring. Don't lean on him.
Yeah, I've noticed that the Bucks have been leaning way too much on Connaughton to make plays happen. He's good, but not that kind of good. Like, he's just a guy you want to knock down shots, not a guy that you want to initiate offense with.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't run an offense through him. You give it to him when things might break down, or, he's just your average bench player, maybe higher side bench player, but, don't lean on him.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, Monty Williams is out coaching Mike Boonhoser.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, what are your final thoughts on this? Let's just sum this up rather quickly with this.
All right. Well, pretty much Suns, like I said, they jump out fast. And they're rolling. They're doing great. Everyone's clicking right now. No, it'd be hard to stop this team.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. If you're shooting the lights out with the basketball, I don't care what the other team is doing. You're going to win every time you're shooting 50% from three. So that was really the biggest takeaway.
Mhm.
All right. So that sums up the recap of game two in the NBA Finals. All right. So let's move on to the second topic. We're still going to be in here. We're still going to be talking about the Suns versus Bucks NBA Finals. At this time, that we're going to be talking about game three predictions. We're going to be making our picks. All right. So obviously, with the Suns winning game two, they are now up 2-0. Remember, game three of the 2021 NBA Finals between the Suns and the Bucks is at Milwaukee. This game is crucial for setting a tone for how the rest of the series goes. The Suns now have a golden opportunity to either sweep the Bucks or take a commanding 3-1 lead with 2 home games left for the Suns if needed. Obviously, there is a lot on the line in game three of the 2021 NBA Finals. This has been an interesting NBA Finals match, to say the least. If you're in Milwaukee, it must feel strange to see your team hosting games in the NBA Finals. If you're in Phoenix, it also feels very surreal to see your team being very close to winning the NBA Finals. With all of that being said, this now leads me to ask this topic question: who will win game three of the 2021 NBA Finals, Suns or Bucks?
Uh, I like this topic. Always had the prediction the Suns would come out fast, but I do think the Bucks. I don't think they'll go down 3-0. I think Giannis is gonna once again put the team on his back. I think Middleton and Holiday will kind of figure it out at home a little bit, and they'll knock down more shots. The Suns, I don't think they'll shoot as well as they have, but I think they'll still do good. I just think the Bucks will outplay them a little bit in this game.
Yeah, so I've been big on the Phoenix Suns. Now, if the Bucks had won game two, like I thought, I would have picked the Suns to win game three. But with the Suns winning game two, I think I have to go with the Milwaukee Bucks winning game three. Why do I say that? Because they need this game more than the Phoenix Suns do. This is, at this point, it's a one thing. And the Milwaukee Bucks need this and want this more than the Phoenix Suns at this point in game three, with them being down 0-2. They need everything they can do to win. Baizu sacrifice, everything will be on the line. Middleton, Holiday, they're going to improve. There's no way they will continue being this bad because right now they're playing like average role players. So I think that they're going to improve upon that as well. I also do not think that Mikal Bridges can score 27 points every game. Whenever Mikal Bridges chips for that many, you're not going to win games when that happens. Sorry, that's just how it is. No diss to Mikal Bridges. I actually like the guy, but that's just the reality of the situation. So, and plus, I think Giannis will continue to play well. He'll continue dominating the paint. And I think that he will get better at the free throw line, at least at home, because I think he's been fine shooting the free throws from at home. It's just that when he goes to the road and when people are shouting his head, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they keep counting on, that's when the problems start for Giannis. So that's not going to necessarily be a problem at home. So I got to go with the Bucks.
Yeah, man. I think everything you said is kind of lining up for maybe the Bucks winning this game. Giannis could shoot free throws better. Maybe Holiday, Middleton don't feel the pressure as much as they do, on away. Maybe this is what the Bucks need to try and make a comeback in this series, because I don't think I agree with you. If the Bucks won game two, I'd pick the Suns, but now the Bucks can't lose. They have to refuse to lose. It just, can't happen.
Yeah, for sure. And think about the slander that Giannis is going to be getting if you lose game three. If he loses game three, there will be a lot of slander about how he can't do this and that. And that wouldn't be good for his legacy, would it? So Giannis is going to do everything that he can to win. If that means that he plays basically all 48 minutes or as many minutes as possible, then do that. Because remember, Giannis dropped 42 points, and he's not even 100% healthy. He's got the hyperextended knee still with him. I don't believe that he's fully healed. No way you heal up that fast.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a question whether he'd play in this entire series, and then they just pushed him back game one. That's crazy. I mean, Giannis, he's been great. I think he'll continue to be great. And if they lose, I don't think all the blame should go to Giannis. I think that's stupid because he's just been great. And any other people saying something else, I just wouldn't agree with it. I think it's on Budenholzer a little bit. I think it's on, Middleton and Holiday, but they just all need to be better as a whole team. The Suns are playing like a team right now, and the Bucks are not.
And I like Giannis a lot. I like what you said about him, but I'm not comfortable giving him an entire pass if they lose game 3. And I like him a lot, but when you're the superstar of the play, you just got to find ways to get the job done, even if other people aren't. If that means knocking down like 70, 80% of your free throws, then you got to go ahead and go do that. You got to do every single thing in your power. And I know that it's unfortunate for Giannis, but that's part of basketball. That's just how it works. A superstar has that much power to control the game. We can all agree that Giannis is the best player out of both of these teams. That means Giannis has got to at least win a game out of this.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But if Giannis is going to score 40 plus points, I can't tell him to do anything else when Chris Middleton's, being off, like just shooting like 4 for 13 or, 5 for 17 or whatever he was shooting. If Holiday's shooting like that and Giannis is scoring 40 plus points and you're saying it's Giannis's fault, I can't agree with that.
I didn't say that, but yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. But what I'm just trying to say is Giannis himself needs to be all right. Even though I scored 40 plus, that's great and everything. But let me hit down my free throw so I can play even better. And that way those guys don't have to do as much. But yes, I need those guys to show up. But you also have to remember, this is not a super team that the Bucks are going up against. If they're playing at the level that they have, this series should be even, quite frankly, because the Suns team is not a super team that they're going up against. It's a well-constructed team, but it's not a super team.
I mean, that's why both teams are here in the finals. They're both well constructed. They both deserve to be here. Contrary to what other people may say, that these are teams who should be here because they've played as a team and they've done great roster management. And I think both teams deserve to be here. It's more about, it's when you're saying Giannis needs to knock down his free throws, though, I just think that's nitpicking a little bit. And it's, he knocks down all his free throws. It's a closer game. It's not like they win the game or anything. It's just more on the other players. You can't nitpick and say Giannis needs to hit more free throws. Just play as a team. That's their problem right now.
Yes, they need to play as a team. They cannot play as Giannis act solo. He cannot win this on his own. And this is not a knock against Giannis, but this is kind of more of a team thing. They have to play more as a team together. Remember the regular season games where the Bucks would always play as a team? Giannis would dominate inside, guys would hit their outside shots. They just need to go back to doing that, quite frankly. They need, and on defense, they need to figure out how to put Brook Lopez in better positions to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Brook Lopez just isn't cutting it right now. I think in game 3, since we're doing like this game 3 prediction, I'm just going to say not everything's going to click for the Bucks, but I think a lot of things are going to fall in place for the Bucks. And they're going to win this game probably about how the Suns won game 2. It was a pretty close game in game 2, but anytime the Bucks tried, anytime they narrowed it to 7 or 4 or something, the Suns just took that hope away right away. But if the Suns miss a few more jump shots, the Bucks are right in that game. So, game 3, if the Suns miss some jump shots and the Bucks make a little more, the Bucks are right back in it.
For sure, for sure. And they're not hitting 50% every time from the floor. That's just not going to happen. I mean, not even the super team Warriors could even do that. So the Suns definitely cannot do that. All right, so let's wrap this up with this topic. All right, so we both agree that the Bucks will win game 3, but what is your score for game 3?
I'm going to say it's probably about a 124-116 game. Bucks winning, making the series 2-1 Suns.
All right, I'm actually going to go with a lower scoring game than you. I got the Bucks winning this game 115-106, but it'll be a lot closer throughout the game. So it'll be kind of like a reverse of what happened in game 2, where the Bucks get the lead early on and the Suns try to play catch up. And who do you think will be the best player in game 3 of the NBA Finals?
I'm going to say Giannis will be the best player. I think the most important player of this game is Chris Middleton. I think he's going to have to knock down some jump shots, but I also want to throw in the Brook Lopez name. If he can play a little bit better defense, rebound, and knock down his shots, it's going to be a tough game for the Suns.
I agree. Giannis is going to be the best player for them, but the most important player, in my opinion, you didn't list this out, but I'm going to go with Drew Holiday. To me, he's the most important. He has to lock down CP3. He has to
Yeah.
make sure that CP3 misses his shots, and offensively, he's got to shoot better than 33% from the field than what he did in game 2. That was unacceptable what Drew Holiday did. He needs to up it at least 10% for it to be even close to acceptable, probably 15% if they want any real chance of winning game 3. But I do have the Bucks winning game 3 at the minimum.
Yeah, I think we agree on that pretty much.
Yep, definitely, for sure. All right, so now let's move on to talking a little bit about college basketball. Not really about college basketball. This is going to be about top 5 NBA draft prospects. All right, so this next topic will be simple to understand. It will be creating a top 5 list for the prospects that are there in the 2021 NBA draft. It should take approximately 30 seconds for each player, for each guy that's listing out what he's got 1 through 5, or actually, shall I rather say 5 through 1. Each guy will speak for approximately 2.5 minutes on his top 5 list. Before I say anything else, though, I want to get this topic started up. Shawn, you can go first with your top 5 NBA draft prospects list.
This was tough, man. I think 2 through 5 is a complete mixed bowl. And so this guy, I have a number 5, Jonathan Kuminga. I think I put him at 2 at one point, and then I switched it up. But Kuminga has all the tools to be great. He was supposed to be going into college this coming season, but instead he reclassified, went to Ignite, and now he's going to be hopefully a top 5 draft pick. I think Kuminga has all the tools to be great, great slasher, great defender, all that. Work on jump shot a little bit, sure, but I think Kuminga has all the tools to be a great basketball player. Number 4, I have Jalen Suggs. We saw what he can do. We saw what he can be. I think if he plays that role, on a team, he can for sure be a leader, or, he can just be still a starter on a great team and put up. I think he can fit in any system you want to put him in. Number 3, Jalen Green. He's your prototypical scorer. The only thing I'd say about him is I think he can't really do much off the ball. He has to have the ball in his hands to be great. Maybe he'll learn from that a little bit, but that's what I have to say about Jalen Green. Evan Mobley is number 2. I think this guy's underrated a little bit still and should be in the conversation as the best guy in the draft. Elite defender, can stretch the floor, can handle the ball great. He can take the ball, go coast to coast on a fast break, and he does everything you want, not in a center, but in a basketball player. Evan Mobley is a dominant basketball player, and I think he'll carry that to NBA. I like him even more than James Wiseman. And then number 1, Cade Cunningham. I think it's easy. He's like a 6'7", 6'8" point guard, shooting guard, combo guard, wherever you want to put him. He's going to put the ball in the basket. He's going to make plays, playmaker, defense, all of the above.
Yeah, so that was your top 5 list. I was actually really impressed with your top 5 list because I know I'm going to kind of sound anticlimactic right here, but that was the exact same list that I came up. So number 5, Jonathan Kuminga. All right, so why do I say him? He's a small forward from the G League, so he rebounds back well. He passes the ball effectively. I mean, yeah, the shooting could improve. He's got a good work ethic, though. He's got long arms. He's an explosive athlete, and he fits well in modern NBA defenses. He can switch into multiple positions. He does need to cut down his turnovers, though, and he is kind of an inefficient shooter, and he kind of needs to stretch out the 3 ball more effectively, but he's actually a pretty good player in terms of hustle, and he can play defense. So what is my player comparison for him? Pascal Siakam. I see a lot of Pascal Siakam in him. And then I want to move on to number 4, Jalen Suggs. He's a combo guard from Gonzaga. I like him a lot. He rebounds well for a guard. He can shoot the mid-range well. He plays good defense as well. He can really guard perimeter defense. And he's an efficient shooter, man. He can shoot the basketball pretty well. And he does a good job stealing the basketball. And he shoots all 3 levels of the floor well enough, blocks shots well for a guard. Now, he needs to work on not fouling as much, but I kind of like that as well because that means that he's aggressive on defense. And he could also cut down on turnovers, but again, that's also a good thing too for somebody of his age because that means he's passing the ball. That means he's trying to move the basketball. And he could work on his free throw shooting. All right, so my player comparison for him would be Jason Kidd, but I would not be surprised if Jalen Suggs ended up winning Rookie of the Year or something like that. Let's move on now to number 3. I got Jalen Green. He's a shooting guard from the G League. He knows how to put the ball in the basket well. He's an efficient shooter. He defends without fouling. He creates turnovers on defense. He's a good free throw shooter. 3-point shot is efficient. It's set. It's ready to go. His inside game is polished for his age. I like his mentality. It's Kobe Bryant-esque. But one thing he needs to work on, though, he needs to work on getting to the free throw line. And something that I could also note is kind of the same problem with Jalen Suggs. He can stop turning over the basketball so often. When I think about him, I think about Ray Allen. Let's move on to number 2. I got Evan Mobley. He's a center from USC. I like this guy a lot. He's a good passer for a big man. He's a great basketball player, like you said. He can dominate inside. He can make plays on the outside. He can start up a fast break. He's kind of like Jokic in that regard. He does the little things well. He's well-rounded. He can knock down the three. And he's, for people who love analytics, he's great for that. He is an efficient player in that regard. But one thing he could work on is rebounding. But with him being his size, we could just teach him how to hustle. When I think about him, I think about Chris Bosh. And when you think about Chris Bosh, you think about multiple-time champion. And then number 1, I think that this gets pretty easy. Cade Cunningham, point guard, Oklahoma State. He rebounds the ball well, blocks shots. He's a good free throw shooter. High basketball IQ. He can shoot the 3. He can play defense. And he really does not have any weaknesses. He is a complete basketball player. When I think about him, I'm actually going to go kind of bold. I actually think about Jason Tatum when I think about Cade Cunningham. I know that you guys probably wanted me to say Doncic or something like that, but I think of Tatum in just his complete game that he plays.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's crazy we had the same list, but I think that just shows how similar basketball minds we have. I like that you have Evan Mobley too. I think it's hard to say a top 3 pick is underrated, but I think he needs to be in the conversation more for the number 1 player.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it's a guard-oriented league. It's a play-making league.
Yep.
It's like arguing. I'm not saying these are 2 same players, but it's like arguing between DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic in that regard.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so now let's move on to the next topic, which will be about Reggie Bush. All right, so we're going to be debating about him. This is going to be involving the NCAA for football. So this is a continuation of what Shawn and I were debating about last episode, which was about college athletes being able to get paid legally now. Obviously, that was great to hear from the NCAA. However, the side effects of the NCAA being corrupt are still felt. Reggie Bush is one of them. He lost his Heisman Trophy rights due to being paid by USC during his collegiate days. Now that paying college athletes have been legalized and legislated, that means Reggie Bush could be getting his Heisman Trophy back. Do not get too hyped up, though, viewers. According to Sports Illustrated, it states that the odds are stacked against Reggie Bush in terms of getting his Heisman Trophy back. Technically, though, the NCAA could give the Heisman Trophy back to Reggie Bush if they really wanted to care for the athletes that are there. Before I say anything else, though, I have to go ahead and present you guys with the topic question: should Reggie Bush get his Heisman Trophy back?
I have a feeling you'll agree with me, but I'm going to say absolutely yes. He should get it back. I think a Heisman Trophy is something you earned. Heisman Trophy has nothing to do with getting paid or anything like that. Heisman Trophy is earned by play on the field. And Reggie Bush, easily one of the greatest college football players of all time, regardless of era. Reggie Bush was awesome. And to take his Heisman Trophy away, for what happened, don't punish the player for that, because a lot of things like that have happened over the years. He deserves to get it back. Reggie Bush isn't the only one who's done that. And I think people would be surprised about how much that actually goes on in college football.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. He needs to get that Heisman Trophy back now. I mean, really, are we even debating about this? Like, this shouldn't even be a debate. This is, yeah, he needs to get it back. And yeah, I know that he got paid and stuff like that, but like, what does that have to do with his Heisman Trophy? He's the one that worked on the field for it. He worked for that thing. He was one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game in college football. For a lot of people that watch college football in the 2000s, he was the guy you came to go watch each and every Saturday. So, of course, he should get it back. No question about it. Zero.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Bush made West Coast football what it was then. He made you want to turn on the TV and watch USC football. The attraction's not there today. Pac-12 football, it's not in a great place. Hopefully it gets better, because I love to see USC be great again. I'd love to see Oregon be good. Arizona State, all those teams. But it starts with a guy like Reggie Bush, who you turn on the TV and want to watch, even though the East Coast people, it's way later for them, you wouldn't care because you just want to watch Reggie Bush. And for all the money that Reggie Bush made for them, him taking a little bit, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to get that back. And I want you to continue bringing up about Pac-12. Yeah, Pac-12 has been in a great decline. They turned Justin Herbert, right? Who we both believe was a superstar. We knew that because we watched the games. But they turned Justin Herbert into a boring quarterback, a quarterback that could not be marketed. And when you look at Justin Herbert right now in the NFL, using futures and all that stuff, how they turn him into an unmarketable player? He's a likable player. He's got the swagger. He can do a lot of things. But yeah, back on topic to Reggie Bush. Yeah, Reggie Bush, especially with the sweeps. How Christian McCaffrey is a superstar in today's NFL. Yeah, that's kind of what Reggie Bush was at USC, except he was about 10 times better than that. The way the guy could catch screens, the way the guy could juke. He was considered to be one of the greatest running backs ever. And although he didn't live up to that hype in the pros, that's not really the point. The point is in college football. And the guy did a fantastic job playing for USC the way that he did.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's, like you said, Christian McCaffrey, he's another running back that, you wanted to watch and was a Heisman Trophy contender. But even before that, it was Reggie Bush. And there was a lot of pages recently, since it's summertime, not much into college football. They do greatest college football player of all time polls. And they do voting and advanced rounds and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And Reggie Bush and a lot of them finished third or second or stuff. And I think it usually ends up with Tim Tebow winning it. But Reggie Bush, if he's, the second greatest college football player of all time, and, he made the NCAA that money, it's crazy that you can't say he didn't earn that Heisman Trophy and he doesn't deserve it. I will say, though, the Heisman Trust group, they said they would give it back if the NCAA allowed it.
Yeah, but the NCAA, why are we even thinking about this? We just got to give him the trophy, man. The way that this guy dominated games, he earned the Heisman Trophy. I always hate it when people leave trophies or vacate because it's those guys earned it. Even when they cheat, just keep it for the records. Just know that it'd be tainted or something like that. There's no need to take it down or anything like that. Especially in a case like this, it makes no sense really. It wasn't his fault that they offered him money. What's he supposed to say? No, I mean, come on. USC was the ones that offered him the money. If anything, those guys should be getting punished, not Reggie Bush. If anything, what does Reggie Bush taking the money have to do with him taking away his Heisman Trophy? That makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, and it's not like he took performance-enhancing drugs or anything like that made him better on the field. It was him doing something off the field, and it wasn't even that serious because it happens all around. And USC, they did get punished a little bit for it, but I think Reggie Bush is feeling the long-term effects of this.
Yeah, I mean, USC is not feeling the consequences of that right now, at least in that regard, compared to Reggie Bush. So, like I said, just to sum up this topic, yes, please remove Reggie Bush's punishment now. It cannot get more obvious than that. Give Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back. It is inhumane to not give Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back. He was one of the greatest running backs of all time to have ever played college football, and he should have profited off of that, actually. I think that it will be tough for Reggie Bush, though, to get his Heisman Trophy back, though, but I am really hoping that the NCAA will do the right thing. Shawn, do you think that the NCAA will relent and give Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back?
I think the fans have to keep putting pressure on, but I think I'm going to say they will give it back to him.
It's not looking great right now for Reggie Bush to get his Heisman Trophy back. But as long as the fans keep showing up and keep pressuring the NCAA, I believe that they will ultimately give it back. But I think it's going to be a good while before they give it back. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's the NCAA doesn't want change at all. The only reason they're changing is because the fans are forcing change. And even the government now is enforcing change on them. They don't want to change, but if you keep putting pressure on them, they'll change.
They have to. They don't really have a choice in this. So like I said, this should not be a debate, but this should be a moral issue. So to sum it up, the answer to this topic question for both of us is too simple to answer. And that answer is clearly yes, for sure. All right. So that pretty much sums up what we think about the Reggie Bush situation. So now let's move on to the final topic, which will be about the Bucks struggles. All right, so the Bucks are currently down 0-2 in the NBA Finals due to struggles with players hitting shots consistently and questionable coaching. Drew Holiday has not lived up to being a number 3 option on a championship team in games 1 and 2. Chris Middleton has been performing inconsistent in the NBA Finals, but he especially struggled in game 2. Mike Budenholzer, although he's a good coach in my opinion for the Bucks, has been getting outcoached by Monty Williams, and his in-game adjustments have left a lot to be desired. His players have not been put in a great position to succeed. The Bucks bench have also not provided a lot of production either. Outside Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks have struggled to perform well. With all of that being said, this now leads me to ask this top question: who is most to blame for the Bucks being down 0-2 in the 2021 NBA Finals?
I think it's pretty easy. I think it's any player that's name is not Giannis. Everyone else needs to do better. Lopez needs to shoot better. He needs to play better defense. Middleton, same thing. Shoot better, play better defense. Guess what? Holiday, same thing. Shoot better, play better defense. That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do. Shoot better, play better defense. Giannis is doing what he can. Free throws could be better. We talked about it earlier. Free throws could be better. And I think a lot of people will say Mike Budenholzer's fault, but it's not Mike Budenholzer's fault if Drew Holiday's knocking out 33% of the shots. It's just not his fault. At that point, it's on Drew Holiday's mental state, on him controlling this environment and knocking down jump shots.
Yeah, definitely. And if you get, first of all, you get to the finals with Drew Holiday as your third best player, that's a good job on coaching, first of all. So I just want to note that, by the way. To me, Mike Budenholzer is definitely not the most to blame. I like that you blamed the collective team for it, but I'm actually going to kind of disagree with you. I think there's one player that stands out. You know who I think that is? I think that's Drew Holiday. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Drew Holiday is the most to blame. And yeah, I thought about blaming Chris Middleton before I thought about Drew Holiday, but I'm going to go with Drew Holiday. Why? Because he has been getting beat up in the finals matchup. Chris Paul has routinely exposed him defensively. He's been having trouble with switches on defense and being able to fight off screens. Offensively, he's just not shooting the ball, and he's shooting 33% in game 2 of the NBA Finals. And it's not like he's been getting double and triple cover. He's been open. He just can't hit those shots. You shoot the ball 21 times and you only make 7 out of them, and you're a third option. I mean, you're the one that has to be blamed the most because you've been getting exposed on defense, and offensively, you just haven't been cutting it. You haven't really been contributing on that side of the floor. I mean, Pat Connaughton, think about this. Pat Connaughton, a role player off the bench, has been outperforming Drew Holiday. Think about that for a second. That is unacceptable from Drew Holiday. Unacceptable.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick out one specific player, I'd go ahead and pick out Drew Holiday. But I also said the collective team just because not the stars, but, players like Bobby Portis and, just the whole bench in general, the whole starting lineup besides Giannis in general, they just all need to play better. But if there's one that stands above all, I would agree with you and say it's Drew Holiday, because people were hyping him up all through the year. He's doing good. He can't fall apart now. This is the worst time to fall apart.
For sure. And I want to continue on about that point about Bobby Portis. This man, although he showed up in the playoffs, this man in the finals has been nowhere to be found. Like, the Bucks need a consistent second and third scoring option. I mean, Giannis is a great player, but he needs help. All great players need help. If MJ and LeBron need help to win championships, Giannis definitely needs that kind of help. And he is not getting that kind of help right now. Look, when it comes to best player versus best team, I typically pick the best team just because you can depend on more people rather than the best player. Because best player, yeah, he can drop in like 45, 10, and 9. Let's just say something like that hypothetically. And that might not even come close to winning the game. But if you spread out the scores, like a 30-point scorer and then a 20-point scorer and another 20-point scorer, that's more healthy. That's a steady diet right there. And the Bucks, they need that kind. It can't be a one-man show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you need to be able to rely on a lot of top people. And right now, the Suns can rely on anyone they want right now, it feels like.
They can even rely on Mikal Bridges. They even show up right now. When Mikal Bridges chips in 27, that's when you know that your team is really good and that they can put people in positions to succeed.
Yeah, and I just want to give a props to Chris Paul for doing as good as he has on Drew Holiday, and just that whole Suns roster is playing as good defense as they have. So it's not all on the Bucks being bad. Suns deserve some credit too for the Bucks struggles, but I think majority is you just have to hit your shots. I mean, it's plain and simple as that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so we both agree that it's Drew Holiday and the collective team, but what percentage of the blame do you give Drew Holiday?
Him as a specific player,
Yes, for their struggles.
probably about 20-25%.
Because
I mean, it's we've talked about it before. It's just he's not hitting his shots. He's not playing great defense because the guy he's guarding is probably going to win Finals MVP. And you know, Holiday is just nowhere to be found.
all right, I'm going to give 30% of the blame to Drew Holiday. To me, he has played a major part in why they have played better. If Drew Holiday plays at sea level, they would have won either game one or game two. He has not played well at all in these finals. Like, if I had to give a letter grade for Drew Holiday, I know I'm going to sound super harsh right here. I'm going to give him an F for these finals for how he's playing because he has not even played at a passing level as well. He has not played competent in these finals. If he's playing like this, they would be better off they just kept Eric Bledsoe. All right, because remember they traded Eric Bledsoe for this man, so they could get an upgrade. This man's playing no different than Eric Bledsoe. I gotta give him an F, man, for how he's playing these finals.
Yeah, man. Drew Holiday just I don't know what his like what's the deal. I don't know if it's too much pressure for him. I don't know what it is, but he needs to get it together quick, like tonight.
Yeah, he needs to get going now. He can't wait any longer. All right, he has to get his mojo back like right now. I don't know what happened to Drew Holiday. I don't know if he's disguised as another person or something like that. But the way that Drew Holiday is playing, can't cut it. If they play like that again, if Drew Holiday shows that version of himself, they're losing that series. You might as well say goodbye and say Suns in four or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just not time for Drew Holiday to figure this out. And I'm someone who's pretty high on Drew Holiday. I like the way he can play defense. I like the way he can put the ball in the basket, but he's not doing any of that right now. So it's hard to, cheer for a guy who's just not good.
Yeah, and I actually like Drew Holiday. I know I just sound like I just piled on him. I'm actually a fan of Drew Holiday. So I want him to do well. I want him to get it together. He needs to get it together. All
Mhm.
right. So you and I, we're going to both blame Drew Holiday the most for why the Bucks are currently down 0-2. And yeah, I could blame the Bucks bench, but those guys are not that impactful relative to guys like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. And yes, we could have blamed Mike Boonhoser as well. I've seen a lot of YouTubers they've blamed on Mike Boonhoser as well the most, but I kind of disagree with that because at some point there's no scheme that can stop the Suns because the Suns they've just been hitting shots. There's no defense. Sometimes great offense beats great defense. It's really that simple. I'm not sure what defensive scheme could exactly stop the Suns right now from hitting their shots. I mean, players just have to guard better and hope that the Suns miss their shots. On offense, though, Giannis, and we've been saying it throughout the show, he needs a consistent number two option to come out. Chris Middleton, he's been too inconsistent, but at least he played good enough in game one. That's why I didn't blame him the most. Drew Holiday, though, he has not played at all. He has not played well at all in any game. He's played an F level. Okay. He has been shooting the basketball poorly. He's been blowing defensive assignments. He's not been making a bigger imprint in the NBA finals. He needs to play better. If Drew Holiday does not step up at all in this series, you might as well say this will be a sweep by the Suns or Suns in five. It really is that simple. That is why Drew Holiday is the most to blame for the Bucks being down 0-2 in the 2021 NBA Finals. Shawn, you got anything else to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it. I think we covered it. And I hope the fans kind of, see where we're coming from. If they don't agree, maybe if they, don't really like Mike Budenholzer, they see where we're coming from. So, hopefully we could give some insight on that for not only us, but the fans as well.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, that sums up the topic that was talking about the Bucks struggles on who the most was to blame. So I felt like you and I agreed for the most part when we were talking about the NBA Finals. It felt like we were watching the same game. All right. So this wraps this up. So thank you for watching episode 3 of Combo Sports Talk. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the topics that were presented. Let us know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about this podcast that was done. There was a lot of NBA talk yet again in this episode, but that will happen when the NBA finals are happening. It just has to be the main focus of Combo Sports Talk right now. Shawn, what would you like to add on to what I just said?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I agree with you. And for the fans, not only comment about just what you thought of it, comment some topics you'd like to hear. You know, we'll find some topics, but if y'all want to hear something specific, let us know in the comments and podcast review, or even in social media accounts. When those get running, DM us, talk to us. We'll interact with you. We'll talk to you. I mean, we'd enjoy talking to you. So yeah, I mean, that's what I like to say about that.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, guys, if you guys want us to open up our social media accounts that involve Combo Sports Talk, make sure that we get to 50 subscribers. So please, if you subscribe or something like that, let all your friends know. Let every single person you know to subscribe to the channel. That way, once you guys get us to 50 subscribers, we can open up our social media accounts, and then we can also make more content in that way as well, which will be better for you guys to go do. So again, thanks for watching this podcast. This has been one fun show to produce. We will be back here sometime next week, probably before Game 4 of the NBA Finals, with new topics to present to you guys. Peace out.